So he says, I prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemy. Now, preparation requires a process. Preparation is not something that happens right away. It's a process. In other words, the table must be prepared in order for the recipient of what is brought to the table to really enjoy it. So when God says, I will prepare the table right in the midst of your enemy, it's necessary that your enemy see this. Now, what's important now, you have to realize you're going through the process, because while your enemy is attacking you, they're often mocking you, saying, look at what you don't have, and you trust in God and you ain't got this. But you got to remember that God is working behind the scenes, that your table is being prepared. You may be going through process and don't even realize it. Break it down, Pastor. Well, when you look at it, God says there are three things I must do to the table to prepare it. Let's look at it. I must clean it, then I'll cover it, then I cater it. Let's break it down. Well, I was in a restaurant, five-star restaurant. It's an interesting scenario. I'm walking in this five-star restaurant. It wasn't in Nashville, but it was a place I was at. And I walked in, and you know, the hostess took me to the table before they got the other person's stuff off the table, before they got the other person's mess off the table, before they got the other person's mess off the table. And so I'm waiting for the table. I'm going to sit down where somebody else's mess is. But I noticed that the expediter was hurriedly wiping off the crumbs and wiping off the mess of somebody else off my table. You got to hear me. God says, this is what I do. I got to get the mess out of your life before I bless you. I got to get the mess out of you so you don't cuss like they cuss, so you don't get low down like they get low down. Somebody knows God will create within you a clean heart and renew within you a right spirit. Purge me with hyssop and wash me that I may be whiter than snow. Somebody know God's got some Ajax for your attitude. He's got some Lysol for your lifestyle. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood. So God says, before I bless you now, I'm going to have to clean you up. But then I noticed something interesting that happened. That the table was an old wood table. It was a very expensive table, I could tell. And it appeared to me that some child, somebody playing, either some adult child or young child, had been playing and therefore had taken a knife and had carved in stuff that did not represent the five-star restaurant, had carved in stuff that was permanently now a part of the table. And even though the crumbs and the residue of the topical stuff had been wiped away, there was still stuff etched in by somebody who had been playing, who didn't understand the value of the table. And so what the waiter did after the expediter wiped the table off is took out the tablecloth and popped it and then laid it down and pressed it to cover up what had been etched in. Okay, you're going to get this in a minute. I know God has cleaned you up. I know all the stuff we can see is gone, but there's some stuff in your life that's been caused by people who didn't understand your value, and they left some permanent marks in your life. The truth is, God has covered you. Look at your neighbor, tell him, I've been covered. Tell him, I got some deep issues, but God has a covering.